Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just take a peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout. Envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Or plan where your vinyl record collection would go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. Really envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today and let us surprise you.
You can support this podcast at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, years ago, she was abandoned as a newborn. Now she has suspicions about the Good Samaritan who found her. We'll review the true crime podcast, Foundling, from Tortoise Investigates and The Observer. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and the love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Also with us, private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of The Final Curtain, it's Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Rebecca. I'm coming to you from my newly decorated backdrop that my son did with crime scene tape.
Mm-hmm.
We see.
Yeah, we see the cats are gone, and you've got a jaunty Christmas garland style crime scene tape.
Yeah. Will thought it was great.
It's amazing.
Not bad, yeah.
And finally, our captain of all things cynical, author of the City Trilogy, host of Rip Current, More Like Ancient Falians, Strange Arrivals, and our Patreon Deep Dive Book Club podcast. It's Toby Ball. Hello, Toby.
Hey, Rebecca.
So, Kevin, this is Monday's program.
It is.
What's coming up on Thursday's show?
On Thursday, we're going to talk about the Hulu documentary series Friends Like These.
All right. Well, Kevin, we have an announcement to make at the beginning of the show. Do you want to handle that one?
Yeah. I mean, if you
We're getting divorced.
No,
I'm just
Oh, God, no. Mom and Dad, no.
Laura's pregnant.
Oh, God.
Awkward.
No, if you subscribe to our newsletter, then you'll have already read this from Thursday's dispatch. But we just want to let people know that our other podcast, You Can't Make This Up, that we do with Netflix, that Netflix has canceled the podcast. And so we're no longer doing that. Actually, Netflix is pretty much canceling all of their audio podcasts. You know, they've made a pivot to bringing on video podcasts made elsewhere, putting it on the service. And so this podcast was in its 9th season, and Rebecca had been doing it for 8 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I hosted
like
some guest hosting like at the very beginning, and then it became just my show that I hosted like in 2019-ish.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, and then you came on as a producer a couple years ago.
Yeah, so
we were doing it together,
Yeah, and it was a co-production of Netflix and Partners in Crime Media. And so that's ending. So that has ended. So if you were wondering why there was no new podcast episode in your feed, that's why. Now, we're going to talk a little more about this in the Crime Writers On After show, because there's all sorts of like business things and industry stuff, you know, that played a role in it, stuff that we have no control over, but is sort of like, you know, the headwinds that are facing audio podcasts in general these days. So we'll get into that. We like to talk about business stuff and behind the scenes things. So that's our announcement. We are no longer doing You Can't Make This Up. You can't record this because you can't make this up.
Oh, well, the other thing that it will eliminate, Kevin, which is not bad, is we don't have to do that doofy disclaimer before we review something that I did a Netflix interview for.
That's right.
Where?
Because the things that we watched that were shit, we're like, we are not talking about this.
We only talked about
Writers.
things that we were sure I could speak positively about.
Yeah.
Because how awkward would that be to do an interview with someone and then shit all over their show 4 days later. So
Yeah, we did that early on in Crime Writers.
Mistake.
You bring on, hello, Mr. Lindsay. Great interview. Now we're going to dump all over your podcast. Glad we can make up for that. But
Yeah.
I always say for Netflix, the no review is the review.
Right.
That's what the thumbs down was.
right, but now we can give thumbs down liberally to
can
anything
do
we want on Netflix.
I love giving thumbs down.
we gave a lot of Netflix thumbs down stuff, just with stuff that we didn't.
Yeah, just not me.
Not things that we didn't cover.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
How many things on Netflix did you shit on? A million.
Oh, things that I didn't cover on
but
the
not
podcast.
things that were on the
yeah,
You
yeah,
Can't
yeah,
Make This Up
yeah.
podcast.
And
so.
I never promised them that you guys would like the thing that I was okay with. Sometimes you were like thumbs down on something I was thumbs up with, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. So it worked out. It worked out well for a time, but now we can focus exclusively on Crime Writers On
And these are their stories.
and Something's Off. So maybe not exclusive.
And giving thumbs down to things because it makes it so much more fun when we all hate something.
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's never gonna
Like,
stop.
what was that hotel show?
Oh, yeah, the Joe Berlinger the lady who fell from
Cecil Hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fine with it. You guys hated
I
it.
didn't
hated
like
it. That was the only time we got any blowback from anybody at Netflix. Joe
You
Berlinger
know what?
himself.
We should talk about that in the after
There we
show.
go, yes.
Now
Yeah.
we can discuss
Now
that.
you can do that because
We have so
Patreon
much
is a
tea.
great way to support our podcast
Oh,
now. Yeah.
we have so much tea we
So
can
much
share
tea. All right.
about people that we interviewed on that show that we can finally talk about. All right, great.
All right.
Okay, Kevin, should we review the podcast we're supposed to be talking about?
Let's do it.
All right. Leading off.
For years, I've thought about that day and wondered about the baby and the mother who left her there. Because right from the start, there were questions.
Because we were just like, how did it get there? How did it get there into this place in the middle of the fields, in the middle of nowhere?
Lucy Greenwell remembered a story from her childhood. In 1987, a newborn was abandoned off a country road near her home in Suffolk. Now a journalist, Greenwell tracked down Jess, who grew up wondering how she came to be a foundling. Jess eventually reached out to the young nanny who miraculously discovered her in a secluded field.
A lot of people in the village still think you have something to do with it for some reason.
As her suspicions about Jennifer grew, Jess would learn more about her rescuer's life. Meanwhile, Greenwell investigated whether a live-in nanny in this town could conceal her pregnancy and delivery and discard a baby undetected. In the end, Jess understood that, all these years later, the impact of her abandonment rippled far beyond her own origin story.
And what she's learned from contacting her birth mother is that she can't control what happens next. But she still has this void at the start of her life, and she still wants answers.
I'm not out to break up families, and I'm sorry I was born. Like, what do you want me to do?
From Tortoise Investigates and The Observer comes the podcast Foundling. Greenwell follows Jess's quest to learn the truth about her birth, her parents, and the impact that her search had on the many people unknowingly connected to her. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Foundling. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. Now, Kevin, I want to start with you because I understand that people might have questions about hiding a pregnancy and whether or not that's even possible.
Oh, you're going right there first.
Yeah, but apparently you've experienced this personally.
What?
Yeah. I'll say that in my previous marriage, I will say that somebody came to the wedding who was hiding a pregnancy. And then by the time we came back from the honeymoon, that woman had given birth in her bathroom floor, unbeknownst to anybody, except for her mother who came down and
Caught her?
found a baby on the floor. So it does happen.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, sure, I believe it. There are different reasons why. She didn't try to, leave the baby at a fire station. The baby was taken in by the family, loved, grew up. I've seen this mother very recently, and I've seen that baby, and that baby has a baby now. And so things work out. In the end, the guy who was the father and didn't know that she was pregnant, they got married, so things.
Really?
Some night,
Wow.
They were married for a long time. And again,
No longer.
my understanding is no longer.
Yeah.
But these things do happen for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think they explore some of them here. But so if you say, I would definitely notice, that somebody was pregnant or whatever. It's like, I don't know, because this person was dancing at my wedding. And, he just looks bigger. But
Yeah, you're never going to.
Yeah,
There's a girl in my high school that did this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but I seem to remember that when I went to public high school in Long Island, you couldn't be visibly pregnant and be a student at the school I went to. I think they sent them somewhere else. I don't know. I kind of remember something about that, but I'm not 100 on that. So this girl hid it for a really long time. And then one day she was just gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, she was pregnant. That's why she was getting bigger.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, we hear in the last episode of this podcast where Jess's father talks to Lucy and he tries to be very diplomatic about it, but he says that Jennifer was never small. Never small.
She was fat, is what he was trying to say.
Yeah, he was trying to be polite about that, but basically saying that it would go unnoticed. If you're a size 1 and all of a sudden you're carrying a baby, that's very obvious. If you're a larger person, it's much easier to hide, and that's how she got away with it once or twice.
How should I put it politely? She was never a very thin woman, if you know what I mean. So it's difficult to tell when. I mean, obviously, it sounds awful, this, but I don't mean it to be.
So, Toby, can we talk about the title of this podcast? Do we even use the word foundling anymore? I haven't heard that word for a really long time. Is that like a British word? I mean, you live in Europe now. Do you know?
Yeah, well, Europeans such as myself use foundling quite a bit in casual conversation. It sounds like something out of Charles Dickens or something. Oliver Twist might have been a foundling. It's very strange. And then once, at least in my brain, once I heard them saying it, and she says it again and again, she's like, this woman was also a foundling. I'm like,
the woman from America. I'm like, I doubt she called herself a foundling.
Yeah, it's like one of those words like trainers that they use all the time. You know, it's like, okay.
But I would be interested. I probably should have looked to see if that is what people typically in England, if somebody leaves a baby at a church or a hospital or whatever, if they're like, oh yeah, there's another foundling, or if it's or if they have some other term. I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. It was a weird just to hear it said again and again and again.
Laura, you love these kinds of stories, right? How come?
How come? Well, I love these stories because number one, we don't know how somebody can carry off a pregnancy and not reveal it to anyone. But number two, in my own family, every time we listen to one of these, I'm like, okay, my dad was adopted. How many years have I said that on this podcast? And I'm going to go out and do my ancestry DNA and find out my real life story. And then I'm like, I'm too chicken. I don't know if I want to know. But I always find it interesting, these people that find half siblings they didn't know they had. My hairdresser has a great story. He's a mid-70s-year-old gay man who's been openly gay since his 20s and found out a few years ago through he has a daughter that he never knew he had from back when he tried to see if he might want to be with women, and that didn't fly. So I always love these stories where you have people that find out they're related and how does that play out? And in this case, it's actually very sad to me how some of these relationships play out, but it's that mystery of who are you? And maybe someday I will find out.
Yeah.
Do you know a private investigator who could help you with that?
Could be a new Patreon level. Who is Laura Bricker?
Could be. Who is Laura Bricker? Where you reveal your ancestry DNA.
Where they have a whole ass TV show on Long Lost Family?
Long Lost Relatives.
Yeah. A whole ass TV show where you're just like, hey, we're going to reunite you.
British TV is wild.
It's crazy.
Like that show where they just reveal the person's naked body slowly. And then you decide if you want to date them or not.
Toby's like, what?
Yeah, penises and all. Yep.
Okay. Again, we're just never getting to this podcast,
yes, we are.
Okay,
yes, we are.
There is a show, and I forget what it's called. Someone will tweet at us. And it's kind of like the dating game, but you get a whole bunch of people of the opposite. Well, not the opposite. Somebody that you might date. And they're naked behind a screen. And then they lift it up a little bit and they say oh, there's their legs. And then they get eliminated. And then they bring all the legs up wherever, and they go over the crotch. And then someone gets eliminated.
Bush,
the chest. And then you finally get the face. And then at the end, that naked person comes out, and whoever the contestant was then comes out naked themselves. And
is this
go
a real
on a
thing?
date. It's a real thing. It was on Netflix or someplace.
It was on, I thought it was on the Cooking Channel.
But when I was in Ireland, yes, I found it on the Cooking Channel. What is this on the Cooking Channel? What the actual
I'm going to watch this later for entertainment.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's got to look up, I guess, Long Lost Family.
Yeah.
Don't get those two shows confused.
So, Toby, we have done a couple of reviews of things on this podcast about adoption or issues around adoption, shows like Liberty Lost, et cetera. And something that's become clearer to me over the years and listening to shows like this, and even shows we haven't reviewed, like that one about the donor guys and the one about the eggs and all that stuff, or the fertility industry, is that adoption can be in and of itself traumatic for a child, even if everything goes perfectly. And Jess equates her trauma to being a foundling. What do you think is going on with Jess at the start of this quest? Because she kind of unravels throughout the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I think the most interesting part of the podcast is sort of the meta part of her sort of experience. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was trying to get a handle on it because she's pretty clear that she considers her upbringing to be idyllic. And then she finds out that she was a foundling and is crushed by it and feels rejected. And, that sort of starts this search for what happened and who was her mom and why was she left and all this stuff. And I'm not a foundling myself. So it's hard to put myself right in the psychological space, but it seemed as though there must be something else kind of going on to have this thing throw her established life into such a tizzy.
You go through life wanting to be accepted and wanting to be loved because you've got this little seed in your brain right from when you were born that you're not loved and you're not wanted. And then you've got this fear of rejection going into new relationships of, are they going to meet me and are they actually going to want to continue to see me? And do they like me as a person?
The whole time I was kind of I don't know how this is going to go. This doesn't seem to me like the odds of this working out well seem fairly minimal. And it was just thing after thing after thing. And I don't feel like you're going to come out of the end of this feeling better about things than you did if you just kind of let it go. But she wanted to find out, and she did.
So, Laura, there aren't an insignificant number of twists in what could have been a very straightforward podcast. And the first one that we learn is that Jess's biological mother didn't just leave one foundling behind. She did it at least one other time. Thoughts?
That was wild. As I'm listening to Jess's story and Lucy, the host, who remembers this as being sort of a significant thing in the news when it happened, that stuck with her, I'm like, okay, did this mother, Jennifer, was it a situation where she was molested? Did somebody rape her? What led her to have a baby that nobody knew about that she, left? And then when you find out about the second one, you're like, okay, none of those sort of motives and backstories that have been sort of percolating in my head necessarily seem like they're going to fit with this particular fact pattern. I liked how they set up the reveal where they both learn about the other half-sister, and it sort of shows how each of them reacts to that news, responds to that news, and then kind of goes forward to their meeting with their other half-sister, Chloe.
She doesn't know. She didn't grow up with your birth mother either because she is also a foundling.
Oh my God. You're joking? Oh no. Younger?
Older.
Oh my God.
This whole podcast, I just kept going this shouldn't be as interesting as it is, but there are so many unique twists in this story. I'm I have to know. And I think what you were talking about before, Toby, was this isn't going to end well for Jess. I feel like she had to know. If I was her, even though I knew it wasn't going to end well, I would need to know my origin story at some point, even though it just seems like she's setting herself up for heartache. I still wish we had more context. I don't think we're ever going to get the full story. But yeah, super. I was like, whew.
Well, Laura, I think the first twist was at the end of episode 1 because we hear about this good Samaritan who just happens to find the baby, right? And they go and Jess reaches out to her, which seems like a logical place to begin to find out a little more about, how she came to be found. And then all of a sudden, boom, you realize, no, she's the mother. From there, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then there would be more twists. And Rebecca and I were just sitting around the deck and we're both listening to things. And all of a sudden I'd be like, oh shit! And you're like, what? Oh no, another twist.
Yeah.
No! we find out, right, that she had another...
You were reacting like it was Star Wars and Luke found out Darth Vader was his dad.
I thought...
It was a little overreaction, Kevin, in my opinion.
Well, okay.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, because that I think that they could have played this more as a juicy, little more salacious if they wanted to, right? Because there are sort of these big moments, right? But I think they were well restrained from doing so. I think it was deliberate. The details were sometimes sensational, but the telling of it wasn't. It was very straightforward, just like you get straightforward podcasts at Patreon, at patreon.com/partners in crime media.
We're in the business section.
You'll get all sorts of exclusive content from us, including the Crime Writers on After Show. As we teased, we'll talk about the cancellation of Netflix's You Can't Make This Up.
Yeah.
And give you the real dirt. We're not going to give you all the dirt here. We're going to make you pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Other exclusive content, by the way.
Including dirt on one very famous director we'll talk about.
Okay, sure. By the way, we have almost hit the 1,000 podcast episode mark on Patreon.
Incredible.
You'll also get, if you join us, Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The last podcast episode, Toby talked with his guests about a book called This House of Grief. We have our Married with Podcast advice podcast. Something's Off with Rebecca and Mel. A very exciting episode because Rebecca thinks she just solved the Karen Reed case.
No.
No, not exactly.
No, I Susan Simpsoned, I think, one detail of the case that I can't believe I've never heard about before. I looked at these documents that just got dumped. Yeah.
You think you may know exactly when Karen Reed drove off from the house.
Correct.
Has been disputed. Okay. If you join us at the Bricker scale level, you get an additional podcast. It's Laura Bricker's Leave It to Bricker podcast, in which Laura solves mysteries, or at least mysteries to her, in a quaint AF town of Exeter, New Hampshire, including how to play the alpine horn and some guy with a mohawk. It's just, you have to listen to believe.
Kind of on brand for the type of things I go to.
Yeah, it's very much on brand.
Yeah, having a big horn in her mouth, very on brand.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Lavoie.
Call HR.
Call HR.
No.
Yep. You sign
Sorry,
up for
Laura.
the Let's Do What We Do level. You get episodes of Crime Writers on early and ad-free. And if you become a deep diver, you're an official sponsor of Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast. Toby, you just got to record your latest episode, and the book was Chaos. Now, the book's name is Chaos. It isn't just that your episode was Chaos. How did it go?
It was good. It's a book that at the end, I was like, I don't even know what to think about this. And so it was fun to talk to three people to kind of try and make sense of what parts of the book seemed real and what parts of it seemed like conspiracy theories and stuff. So fun conversation, especially if you read the book, I think you'll enjoy it.
Very good. Very good. So all of that content comes to you at patreon.com/partners in crime media. Thank you to everybody who has supported us on Patreon for all these years. You keep this podcast going. You make us vibrant. Yes. You keep us healthy and allow us to put out 2 episodes a week of this dribble.
Yes. Can I just make one note about our Patreon?
Yeah.
Some of you have complained that you haven't been seeing the audio version of Something's Off in your feed. Totally my fault. I wasn't adding it to the correct podcast RSS.
Yeah.
That has been fixed.
There was a change on the backside of Patreon.
It's not important. I'm adding it to the Crime Writers on Bonus podcast thing as it's supposed to be, and you should be seeing all audio episodes from now on. So, Kevin.
Yeah.
Does that end our business section?
Thus ends the business section.
Let's fade that music out right now. So, Kevin, who's our sponsor for this program?
We're brought to you by Quince.
Ooh.
Hey, if you're trying to be more intentional about what you wear day to day, Quince can help you with that. They've got pieces that feel easy, comfortable, and still put together, just like the sweater that Rebecca's wearing.
That's right. My sweater right now that I'm wearing is the oversized cashmere crew in navy and white stripe. It's nice and light, but warm enough for a breezy day. Perfect for spring, very nautical inspired. I love this sweater so much.
And you got it from Quince?
I did.
And what else do you get from Quince, Rebecca?
You can get jewelry from Quince.
And you have done that?
Yes, I have. You can get housewares from Quince, rugs, couches, anything you want. Gold bars, all of it.
We haven't done a couch or a gold bar yet.
Right.
But Quince has a whole bunch of stuff. They work directly with ethical factories to cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality and craftsmanship, not brand markup.
Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/crime for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too, eh?
Hey!
That's quince.com/crime for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crime.
Crime.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just take a peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout. Envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Or plan where your vinyl record collection would go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. Really envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
It's Charles Barkley here with Wayfair. And let me tell you, game day is serious business at my house. If I'm grilling, chilling, and watching hoops, my outdoor setup better be ready to play. That's where Wayfair wins. From patio seating and umbrellas to grills and grill accessories, Wayfair's got it all, and it shows up fast. I'm talking fast and easy delivery. So level up your grill game and your outdoor chill game, and head to Wayfair.com to get your outdoor space ready for the season.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Why have I asked my electrician I found on Angie.com to bury my pet hamster Nibbles in our yard for me? Because I was so moved by how carefully he buried my electrical wires, I knew I could trust him to bury my sweet Nibbles after his untimely end. Nibbles, gone too soon. May he scurry in peace.
Hey, sorry about your pet, but I just wire stuff.
Nibbles would have loved you like a brother.
Connecting homeowners with skilled pros for over 30 years. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
So let's talk about Jennifer, not her real name, Jennifer, Jess's mom. Toby, I found myself, because she's not in the podcast and they used a fake name, do you feel like you needed more information about this woman, yes or no? Or wanted more, I should say.
So I think there's one big mystery that gets raised and then isn't answered in any way, which is what's the story with the second child?
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that if she's not going to talk, it's just sort of unknowable.
Well, not necessarily, because the sister was only 14 months away from Jess, right? And if the sister knew, she could have told Jess, and then Jess could have told Lucy, I guess. But anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, apparently it's not known. And that would have been helpful. I think it's pretty cleverly done, where later with the whole thing with Chloe, that you find out what Jennifer's profession is and how she kind of approaches it in this very strange kind of, who's that author you like who has all those Netflix shows?
Oh, Harlan Coben.
So like a very Harlan Coben type situation.
Totally. You mean mom slop?
Yeah.
Very mom slop situation.
Yeah, so I think that was the thing. That was the thing for me. Like, it obviously would have been great to have her voice and have her kind of talk about things, but in some ways, having people kind of talk about her and have her sort of being off stage also gives it a little mystery, I guess. Except for the second kid, I kind of felt like the affair with Chloe kind of gave some insight that satisfied me, at least for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk to you about that, Laura, because for those who haven't listened and don't plan to listen, it turns out that Jennifer, the mother, has grown up to become a mental health nurse. So she's basically giving therapy and supervising other nurses in the mental health field in England. And the father has kids, other kids, with his wife, who I guess they're separated or divorced now. And one of his daughters had mental health issues. And Jennifer, it turns out, was that daughter Chloe's therapist. Chloe later died by suicide. And Lewis knew that the mother of, or that somebody he was sleeping with, at least, when he was also with his wife, was giving his daughter therapy. What did you think about, it's a complicated situation to explain, but that's essentially what happened.
Right.
What did you think about that? Because they do a lot of talking about the ethics of healthcare and so forth, and it kind of goes down that road. But do you think that was a satisfying twist or an intriguing twist?
That was an intriguing, satisfying, and rage-inducing twist for me. So, it's like Kevin was saying, you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like we have the twist about the other sister. Okay, now we have the twist about this woman that left the Foundling now being a therapist, treating this girl, Chloe, and Chloe has no idea who this woman is. Chloe's sharing her like anxieties, with this woman who had this relationship with her father, has a child with her father. And then when she figures it out, it really is a blow to her. She's talking about how she feels violated. She trusted Jennifer. She feels like, and the dad had allowed this to happen. So where was he coming from with where he thought this was okay? And then he tries to kind of play it off later like no big deal. And then it elevates to the level that Chloe files a complaint, like an ethics complaint. And that's where I got really pissed off because I'm like, okay, this is clearly a boundary violation here. And this woman, Jennifer, clearly knew who she was. She had seen Lewis, the dad, at therapy. It's a small community. It's not rocket science to figure out the connections here, but she continued to treat her. And we don't know the level of, was this good therapy or bad therapy at this point? But Chloe files this complaint with the National Health System. And they're like, yeah, sorry, it's not a really big deal. And then we find out that, she dies by suicide. So again, I know we're not going to get all the information about Jennifer, but I'm like, okay, so we have a woman who has abandoned 2 children, who then becomes essentially a counselor. Like, what is the psychology? Like, what happened to this woman as a child? What went on in her backstory, in her family system to land her where she landed, where she, gets into therapy, is approached by her now adult daughters that she abandoned, will not communicate. And she has the mental health training to know, right from wrong and to know, should have a sense of her own shit at this point in life. But then to cross that boundary and treat Chloe, I'm just like, what is going on with this woman? As I was listening to this podcast, I'm like, I really hope that this podcast, I hate to say this, but like motivates her to kind of step up and answer some questions, like give Jennifer some closure at this point about what happened. Like the human decent thing to do would be to explain to Jess what happened. You don't have to have a relationship. Just let her know what happened.
She seems to have wanted a relationship, and Jess was the one who didn't want it. That's my understanding.
Yeah. Do you think Jennifer has some issues, though?
I thought it was the other way around. I thought Jennifer stopped communicating.
No, it seemed like
Jess got angry.
What's the name of the half sister?
Helen. Yeah, Heather. I thought it was Helen. No, it's Helen. It's definitely Helen. Because I remember Helen I was like, that's a really cute baby name, Helen. Just like the kid on that show on HGTV.
Right. Didn't like Jennifer say to the baby, you look like a Heather.
Yes.
It was one of those weird things. Anyway, yeah. I think it was that the half sister, the other abandoned baby, wanted to have a relationship with Jennifer and just decided, I don't care. I don't want to have a relationship with her. And that ended up putting a strain on the half sister's relationship. And I think you guys said it earlier, like when somebody comes back into the life, whether it's, and I think it's very common in cases with people who are adopted, or, you show like all of us, you didn't know you're a child born out of wedlock, and you're like, with the 23andMe, you come in, all the different ways that it played out between individuals rang very true to me because it's such a shock to everybody. There were those who embraced it. Okay, you're my sister, or you're my half sister. Or, Jennifer handled it very different than her own parents did. And the grandparents were and they had, and Jess had a great relationship with the grandparents and whatnot. And so.
For a while anyway,
yeah. So.
Until they all blocked her on the internet. Yeah. And I just want to say, just for the record, the producers made a mistake calling the mother Jennifer because Jess and Jennifer are too similar. And I found myself getting confused many times. They should have called her Katie or Sandra or something that was demonstrably different than Jess.
Mildred.
Because
Pippa.
Even in this recording, we've confused the two names a couple of times. So, Toby, let's talk a little bit about Jess and her story pursuit here. And the disruption that, she's like the Kool-Aid man busting through a brick wall of these people's lives in a certain way. And she really disrupts their lives. And she definitely tells her own story as if she's the aggrieved one. Can you talk a little bit about that complication for the listener, how we experience Jess versus how maybe even Lucy experiences her when we hear about all of these layers of trauma that are kind of surrounding her?
Yeah. And maybe it's, I think you can listen to this and have various reactions to her, but I felt sorry for her, but I also felt she didn't seem very responsible in the way she was kind of going about this, in that, she was basically dropping bombs in these people's lives. She got in touch with the son of the man who had slept with her mother You know, I mean, she didn't even really know what the story was, but she drops us into an existing family, right? That she doesn't know anything about the dynamics or whatever. And then not only that, it sort of inserts herself into the family, like becomes friends with the daughters, one of whom has had big mental illness struggles. And I think I'm right that if this whole thing hadn't happened, the reveal that Jennifer was the one who had been impregnated by her father back in the day and was like, sort of like none of that would have come up, which doesn't mean it's okay for that to have happened, but it does kind of show sort of the knock-on effects from introducing this into this family that has existed without Jess.
And I said, hi, it's Jess. Bit of a crazy day all round. I'm sure it's come as a shock to you, Jess. He replied and said, it's knocked me sideways. I just don't know what to say at the moment. I'm sure you understand, but it's so nice to hear from you.
And I think the same goes, you know, she's friends with the grandparents. And even though Jennifer, she's like so angry with Jennifer, she sees Helen develops a relationship with her and they become close. And she's just so angry about the whole thing that she's not going to let herself do it. And my sense is that Helen's like, she's your mother, like she's in this different situation. She's a perfectly fine person and we have a close relationship. And your anger towards her, you know, maybe you can reevaluate that. Like, are you causing yourself undue misery because of it? Because my experience is about as similar to yours as one could be. And we have this nice relationship. And she feels, again, like as you were saying, she feels aggrieved that she's not invited to these funerals, but they don't really know her, right? I mean, really all she's got is this blood relation based on something that happened decades ago, but she doesn't have any relationship with these people. She's essentially a stranger who feels as though she's entitled to be part of these very intimate moments in this family's life. And to me, that just seemed very off. Again, it's hard to put yourself in her situation. I felt bad for her, but I didn't really find her like much of a protagonist. You know, I wasn't like rooting for her stuff necessarily to really succeed because it just seems so ill thought out.
I completely agree with you. And I think it's very interesting. I mean, Jess is angry, and my impression of her is that she became close to her biological mother's relatives as a power move of sorts. That was a manifestation of her anger. She's like, look, they're all great. Like, what's the matter with you? I'm not saying no one knows how they would feel in the situation. Let's be clear. Would I want to be friends with Jess after listening to this podcast? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is somebody who really is like unable to look at herself and her contributions to a situation. Not that she asked to be abandoned. She absolutely did not. But I hope and I assume she's getting help of her own to sort of deal with all this. But she did sort of set a ball rolling that caused a lot of trauma. But her lack of ability to see that she had a role in that plays out with her just being like, they all blocked me and it's their fault and it's their fault and it's their fault. And I found that very unappealing for a protagonist in a way. But also at the same time, it's so interesting because this podcast potentially could also bring some trauma to Jennifer's life by the fact that it potentially reopened a criminal investigation into the Foundling matter. And I'm like, okay, at least we hear Lucy be like, oh shit, like when I made this, like that was not my intention. Hence the using of the fake names and all that stuff. But like, yeah, she definitely opened a can of worms, and you kind of wonder how that might shake out long term and the traumas that might cause, because Jennifer also has her own nuclear family, and Jennifer also has her own life and her own career. And you can say that what she did was unforgivable, yes or no. She was also a child when she did it, and she has clearly developed as a human being, and I think she's probably capable of having a meaningful dialogue about the circumstances around this, and doesn't. But speaking of somebody who sort of paints themselves in a certain light, Laura, what did you think about the interview that Lucy gets at the end with Jess's biological dad with the distinct German surname?
Yes. And there's only a few one with that name. I'm
exactly.
Like, okay.
Is his last name Hitler? What the actual fuck?
What do you think about what he has to say at the end of the podcast, Laura?
Yeah. So, that was, again, it was satisfying.
Louis Hitler?
Yes, Louis. Oh, my goodness. I'm glad that we got to hear from him because what I was saying before is I think having some context about the situation around Jess being left and what was the scenario at the time that this happened. And I do think that there's a grain of truth in what Louis says, but I also think Louis really wants to paint himself in the best possible light here because how does it look?
There were no mention of Jess. She had plenty of opportunity, really, didn't she, to tell me, and she never did.
So what's your feelings about the fact that she didn't?
Well, I'm absolutely shattered and gutted by it. It really knocked me duck off. It really knocked me head off.
But he, tries to say, oh, it was just, maybe a Friday or Saturday night, for like 1 month in May. Then he says, oh, I really wanted to, get back with, make a real go of it with Debbie. And we have 2 sons. And he didn't know she was pregnant and all that. But at the same time, then Debbie, who we've heard from before, has kind of pieced 2 and 2 together that there was more to this situation.
Yeah, he was fucking around behind her back.
For more than just a Friday or Saturday night here or there.
It was the 80s.
As he tries to be like, well,
the 80s.
I mean, you got to wonder if he's also Helen's dad, right?
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was interesting to at least hear a little bit about what led up to this, the birds and the bees, but also a little bit more about what Jennifer was like at that time, because we had heard about her in the beginning and how she was the super nanny for the family that, by the way, had how many was it? 80 nannies or something?
50 nannies.
I was just like, okay, you guys must have been a nightmare to go through that many nannies.
Yes.
That's a problem family.
Like before, when Mary Poppins comes in, they chase all the other nannies out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
But yeah, so I think it was interesting hearing from Louis. I feel like also, though, he doesn't seem to have a lot of situational awareness about the role of Chloe being seen by Jennifer. And he tries to, again, sort of downplay that as well, that he might have been there. No, he was in a therapy session. And then the other thing I thought was really interesting was that he actually maintained contact with Jennifer throughout the years.
Yep.
And I'm like,
He kept
what
her
is
on
that
the
about?
hook. Yep.
I'm like, did you still have a little thing on the side? Or were you always like, well,
Did he like it that she liked him was my
Because they
guess.
described her as being so obsessed with him.
Right.
And so he that made him feel good.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you that the black bears in our neighborhood, they remember where they got the honey.
Exactly.
So they'll come
or the
back.
garbage.
Yeah. So years later, they'll still come around for that honey.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just take a peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout. Envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Or plan where your vinyl record collection would go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. Really envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
It's Charles Barkley here with Wayfair. And let me tell you, game day is serious business at my house. If I'm grilling, chilling, and watching hoops, my outdoor setup better be ready to play. That's where Wayfair wins. From patio seating and umbrellas to grills and grill accessories, Wayfair's got it all, and it shows up fast. I'm talking fast and easy delivery. So level up your grill game and your outdoor chill game, and head to Wayfair.com to get your outdoor space ready for the season.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Why have we asked our contractor we found on Angie.com to be our kids' legal guardian? Because he took such good care when redoing our basement that we knew we could trust him to care for our kids.
We only met a month ago. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today and let us surprise you.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out the podcast Foundling? Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for Foundling?
Yeah, I'm going to go thumbs up with this. This was a podcast that As I was listening to it, it's really more of a mystery than necessarily a true crime podcast. I mean, I guess you could technically, there is a crime hook in the way that there was a foundling, a baby abandoned. And, but it's really a story of families and what happens in the modern era where we all have access to Ancestry DNA or 23andMe, and now we can see who else we might be related to. I think that this podcast, it wasn't flashy, but it didn't need to be because there was a lot of twists and turns in terms of what happened with the people that were involved in this story that had me, as I was walking, going, oh my God, whoa. And I wish there had been somebody there to talk about it with when it happened, because some of these twists were big reveals. I think, if anything, I wish there was maybe a little bit more satisfying ending for the sort of main character here in terms of getting some concrete answers. But overall, I think this was it was a fascinating look at a case that was very well known in England when it happened and where everybody is now. And it was told in a way that really kept you engaged as you were listening to find out what happened next. So it's a thumbs up for me.
Toby Ball, thumbs up or thumbs down for Foundling?
Yeah, so I guess I disagree with Laura a little bit in how I kind of perceived the show, which was more, I thought about a person who's trying to find answers about their life and then the consequences to other people of that search. And, at the end, where Laura was hoping that she would get some answers and stuff, like to me, that seemed almost beside the point compared to, sort of the consequences of what has happened throughout the podcast. It does kind of feel like it didn't go according to plan. Like I can't imagine like they sat down at the first podcast meeting or like laid it out and this is what was going to happen. It seems as though as they kind of went along, things took these turns. So anyway, I guess I'm a mild thumbs up. I think it's kind of a character study in sort of a meta sense in that's not what they sort of start off being, but I think that's kind of what the spine of this thing is watching the way the protagonist kind of works their way through these questions they have about their life is kind of interesting and just feels a little bit sort of less controlled, I guess, than so many podcasts we listen to. I just had this feeling like things were a little bit out of control through a lot of this podcast. Yeah. In a thing that's very sort of sedate, very British kind of tone to it. At the same time, you're like, what the hell? So anyway, yeah, I guess I'm a mild thumbs up.
Kevin Flynn.
I'm a thumbs up. I had so many oh shit moments listening to this where I would just shout out loud, oh shit. I did not expect this to be as good as it was. Lots of twists and turns. I'll say that Tortoise Investigates has done a couple of podcasts that pose unanswerable questions that end up like landing with like this, I don't want to say a thud, but like a little soft whimper, right? Things like Sweet Bobby.
Yeah. Why did the cousin do it?
You're right. Lucky Boy.
Yeah.
What's a little, ambiguous at the end. And you kind of go into it thinking like, well, you're never going to really answer that. And while we may not get clear answers here, they feel more like a cliffhanger than an unanswered question on something that was left undone, despite the fact that we don't get the clearest picture of everything that happened. The story feels complete to me. And this was a very traumatic incident and a formative incident in a very young life, something that this woman took with her forever. So it's hard to say that listening to this story was entertaining. It certainly was very engaging. And so I think that Foundling is worthy of a thumbs up.
I'm giving it a thumbs up too. My thumb has gotten more up during this conversation with the three of you. I love the way we are talking about this podcast. I love the way that there are many different ways to interpret our feelings about the protagonist. I do like that there was some tension between the reporter and the subject that we saw, but we weren't told about. There's a lot of showing in this podcast, which I like, because there are also, as Kevin said, some things that we can't be told. I'm also a little bit of a sucker for a well-written, well-produced podcast with a posh British person hosting it. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of a sucker for those. Ghost Story being the best one I've ever heard, by the way. So yeah, unfortunately for me, I started listening to this podcast at exactly the same time that the latest Anthony Horowitz Hawthorne book dropped. So I had just started listening to that Then I started listening to this podcast and I was like, man, this isn't as good as Kevin is making it sound. But then I realized later it was mostly because I really wanted to listen to this audiobook that I had pre-ordered and had been waiting for months. But I've been thinking about the show a lot since I finished it, which is a hallmark to me of something worth listening to. It's kind of a thinker. I feel like if you listen to it and your friend listens to it, you could have a really good book club conversation about it, a book club-like conversation about it. So, yeah, I'm now a fan of Foundling, and I've come to really like the name, even though at the beginning I was like, what the hell? Dad, Father, is this a foundling? I was like, what the hell?
Sounds like something out of Harry Potter.
It sounds like something like Linton would say from Wuthering Heights, right, Kevin?
Father, look at this child left in the street. May we take him home, Father?
Anyway, yeah, it's a thumbs up for me for Foundling. It's well reported. There's certainly some things that they couldn't include that I wish they could have. If I had one request, it's that Lucy, our host, would have shared her conclusions with us a little bit more. There's a lot of restraint there that I was like, I just want to know what she thinks so badly about this. Please just tell me. I'd love to have coffee with her so she can really tell me what she thinks happened. But yeah, thumbs up for me for Foundling. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, a little something I like to call the Crime of the Week. Pam Conrath promised her husband Bill before he died that she would throw him a super wake. A year later, she held a funeral where Bill returned as a hologram who answered questions from the audience. The Washington State woman said she worked with an avatar company to recreate Bill's image and voice as a life-size hologram. Pam wrote a script of questions and answers she thought people would want to hear from her dearly departed husband. The 200 mourners were not aware of what was about to happen. So many were shocked and confused when Bill appeared on a TV screen and began a conversation with his widow. Oh my God, it's like that turtle thing at Disney World, right? Pam says many people couldn't understand what was happening and believed the exchange was happening live. In recent years, several companies have offered digital products in which people appear to speak to those who've died. This one was much higher quality. Experts are cautious about the ethics of providing such technology to those in grief who may be especially vulnerable and the way loved ones might use that technology in the grieving process. Panel, it seems like science has already found a way to bring back the dead for a Q&A session. Who from history would you like to bring back from the grave and ask questions of? Laura Bricker.
One of the mysteries that drove me crazy all through elementary school was Amelia Earhart.
Oh, interesting.
I would like to know what happened.
All right. What about you, Toby? Who from history would you bring back so that you could ask questions?
I don't know. D.B. Cooper.
Oh, what about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I would love to be able to sort of answer the question, well, besides that, how did you like the play, Mr. Lincoln?
Too soon, Kevin. Too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon. All right.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Laura Bricker, if folks want to reach out to you on social media, how can they find you there?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Instagram and Blue Sky.
What about you, Toby?
At TobyBall603 on Instagram.
And Kevin Flynn, how can people sign up for the Crime Writers On newsletter?
You can go to crimewriterson.com, just put your address there, and you will receive the newsletter on Thursday, or maybe you'll get a tweet from me at Kevin P. Flynn.
That's right, and it's like inside Herman's head, that newsletter. I love it,
Exactly.
except it's Kevin's head. If you want to follow me everywhere, you can find me at Reb Lavoie. Yes, I'm even still on X, man. I don't like it, but I'm still there. And I encourage
We can
you
send help.
And I encourage you to join our incredible community in our official Crime Writers on Facebook discussion group. It's pretty awesome there. Get everything we make at patreon.com/partners in crime media, including, if you're at the right level, an early and ad-free version of this show. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our editor is the truly wonderful, truly lovable, queenly Livy Burdett. The EP of this show is Kevin. This show is recorded in the Caitlin Rogers Project Studio, also known as Studio C, The Closet, in our New Hampshire basement, where we also track down people based on what are termed, quote, unusual surnames. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later.
If you're a size 1 and all of a sudden, you know, you're carrying a baby, that's very obvious. If you're a larger person, it's much easier to hide, and that's how she got away with it once or twice.
Kevin.
Or maybe more. Who knows?
Next time people tell you that you lost weight, just tell them you were hiding a pregnancy before.
It's a medical miracle.
Yeah, so I have spilled a lot of my guts on this in the first 10 minutes of this
Are you
episode.
feeling relieved? You feeling relieved?
Yeah, I'm unburdened.
Yeah.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just take a peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout. Envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Or plan where your vinyl record collection would go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. Really envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. From roof repair to emergency plumbing and more, when you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find a pro for your project at Angie.com.
This is a Monday.com ad. The same Monday.com designed for every team. The same Monday.com with built-in AI, scaling your work from day one. The same Monday.com with an easy and intuitive setup. Go to Monday.com and try it for free.